Hi everyone, thanks for making the left turn for today, Sunday, December 16th, 2018. I'm George Farrar. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Jax Left channel. Welcome back to the Jax Left channel. Welcome back to our Vision in Transition series. I'm pleased to today bring you pictures and film of downtown Jacksonville with focus on the Riverwalk, North Bank and South Bank, viewing from the best place I can bring you, from where I can bring you these pictures and film. Yes, we're at the top of the Acosta Bridge. Okay, top of the Acosta Bridge, or approaching the top of the Acosta Bridge. And behind me, our beautiful downtown Jacksonville skyline. And so I have a lot to bring you. So all I know to do at this point is, as I like to do on a lot of my shows, and that is to say, let's roll it. I've got a lot to bring you, so I'm going to jump right in. Here we see the Times Union building. Eventually, the Times Union is no longer going to be in that building. There's been talk, maybe it'll be condos or something. Here we see the Convention Center, the Prime Osborne Convention Center, previously Jacksonville Terminal, a railroad station from 1919 until 1974. In the distance, we see the work on the new JTA Center, okay? And we're going to now pan over, look at that beautiful, beautiful yacht, okay? We're going to pan over to look at downtown Jacksonville on the brisk morning of Sunday, December 16th, 2018. A beautiful morning. Now, I'm going to be bringing you this video that I've taken, this film that I've taken of the of downtown, of the riverfront today, mostly with the audio muted, so that I can go on and on and on and talk with you, but we'll have interludes where you'll have the opportunity to hear the sounds on the river on location. What a beautiful morning, a beautiful clear morning, and you know, there's a lot of roadway, as you can see, and a lot of ways to when you arrive off the Acosta Bridge, a lot of places you can go. There's a lot of connectivity here. And in the Vision and Transition series that I've been working to bring you since 2015, when I started to get really fast in with what was going on the St. Johns River, not only the history, but where things are going in present time and in the future. You know, it's all about really getting an idea of what's happening all over downtown on both the North Bank and the South Bank. Now, as we focus in on the Times Union Center, previously built as a civic auditorium in 1962, okay, there's talk that there may be a big screen projection place out there for people to look at movies in the evenings. South Florida is kind of the big thing down south, so people are talking about maybe doing that outside and doing some different things on the river. Now, of course, we can see in the distance out here the yachts and the marina, and we can see, of course, the Gulf Life building, the old Gulf Life building, now Ameris Bank. And we see, as we look out, we see the Wells Fargo Center, we see the Jacksonville Landing, and I'm focusing in on the old City Hall Annex, which is slated for implosion next year. And of course the Main Street Bridge, and as we look off into the distance, we see the stadium, we see the Daly's Place, and then we pan back. Okay, look at those birds. What a beautiful morning. I mean, seriously. You know, and I knew when I got onto the Acosta Bridge, I was going to be able to bring you some excellent video to talk with you about. It's also game day, okay? The Jags playing, 1 o'clock. Let's go ahead and enjoy some sounds from the river for just a moment. I picked the Acosta Bridge to film from today because I wanted to get a good angle on downtown Jacksonville. And you know, there are a lot of people, politicians, media types, developers, lots of people out there who have their angles on the future of downtown Jacksonville. And I have my own angle, and you're watching it. But seriously, as a citizen, as a taxpayer, and as a person who really strives when I can to get the most out of the city that I can, I have an angle for you on a lot of the talk, a lot of the redevelopment, and I'll be presenting my ideas. And particularly towards the end of the show today, I'll be taking a look at some of the projects and letting you know my thoughts about where things are at. So I hope that in the future we're going to do everything we can to preserve the opportunity for the public to get the most out of our greatest resource, our river. Okay, so as our film angles us into looking at downtown, there's so much going on. If you look between the Wells Fargo Center and the Bank of America Tower, you see that the JEA building. There'll be some further focus in on that later on in the show. But I want to tell you on them, they're looking at a new headquarters. So they'll be vacating that building, built in the 1960s. Okay. We see the Hart Bridge in the distance. I'll have more to talk with you about the Hart Bridge ramps, the Hart Bridge Expressway. But you know, when we look, as we start to head down towards the Southbank, we look at really, you know, there's a lot of stability on the Southbank. We have the Prudential, we have the old Prudential building, used to be the Aetna building, now the One Call building, San Marco Boulevard. And then across the way, we're just past the Fuller Warren Bridge, and then of course Blue Cross, Florida Blue, and now here we are back. So we're circling back here. But the point I'm really trying to make here is that my focus, my scrutiny, has been on the North Bank, and I'll be talking though a little bit about some stuff going on the South Bank with the district development. So why don't we just go ahead and just jump right out onto the South Bank right now? Here we are. And, you know, as I begin to bring in some focus, as we get closer out onto these places on the river, it's time once again to take a look at the Jacksonville Landing, opened in 1987, a retail dining place. I've talked a lot about it. There's long been speculation about what will happen ultimately with the Jacksonville Landing. Okay, this is not a new topic, and the city of Jacksonville and the Landing management, Tony Slayman, his group, they're right now mired in litigation, and you know the judicial system is not exactly known to be incredibly fast moving in these kinds of matters. But at some point, there are going to be, I know that there are going to be some changes, and I'm going to talk about some thoughts that were out there, and I will have my thoughts about it as well. And once again, we focus in on the old City Hall Annex, slated for demolition, right there behind the Hyatt Regency. And then so much going on here. and so much more to talk about as we go further down the river. Just right now, right there in Friendship Park. So I just brought you in on focus. Did you enjoy that? The JEA building up close. Did you like that? So there's talk eventually they're going to get a new headquarters. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that building. And then of course, as we start to go further down the river, we have behind the Hyatt Regency, the old City Hall, and focusing in now on the old Duval County Courthouse and the demolition already underway, already in progress of the backside of the old Duval County Courthouse. And of course, then we have the condominiums, we have the residential places, one that's in business and one that's, construction was halted on. And then I focused us in on the Duval County Jail. Okay, between these two towers. Yes, it's the weirdest located jail in the country. Of course, we know from our previous episodes of Vision in Transition, I've talked about that civic center vision that we had with a jail. Originally, there was a jail right next to the old county courthouse, and then that jail came into being, I believe, in the early 1990s. And then here we have the Maxwell House factory. To make a long story short, in this area, there is a lot of plans. There are a lot of plans for development. There's even been talk of a Ferris wheel or something in this area. This is the shipyards area, the project, and we see the Hart Bridge ramps coming through. Okay, we'll talk more about that. So there's going to be that area is hot right now. So there's talk that eventually maybe the Duval County Jail will be moved up to the north side near Montgomery Correctional Institution up on the north side. That's been speculated. That's been a talk out there. So, and then there were plans for a convention center to be on the river, but right now that's uncertain, and we're focusing on the jail there. A lot going on. A lot happening on the North Bank, a lot of speculation, and your guess is as good as mine as to what will ultimately happen in some of these places. What's going to happen with the old University of Marion building, the JEA headquarters, when they move? Is it going to be torn down? Is it going to be renovated? It's an old building. What's going to happen here? Are we going to get a riverfront convention center? There's talk it's too expensive. Or are we going to get some sort of hotel restaurant kind of deal? It's been speculated. Will the Duval County Jail move? What will happen with Maxwell House? Will Maxwell House start putting French roast back into those boxes like they should be instead of those big containers and trying to charge me so much money for them? I don't know. Stay tuned. Just kidding. Okay, but seriously though, but now we look here out at the shipyards, and then we're really looking out over at the arena and at the baseball grounds. But right out along the river, that's where the Ferris wheel and the magic, all these speculated ideas or thoughts about where things are going to be. And then there's Daly's place, and then of course the Jags, the stadium, TIAA Bank field. And then, of course, we have the beautiful salute to the United States Navy sailor. And then in the distance, the Hart Bridge. And then, looking out, as you look further straight ahead, just to the right of the Hart Bridge, but on this side, on the South Bank, that's where there's a development that's going to be. I'm going to talk about that too. And then I'm focused us in. Look at that. Look at that beautiful zoom in. And so a lot is happening. I've got a lot of optimism down the road, no matter what happens with the economy. Now, we're going to hear a lot of talk about redevelopment downtown as we go into the 2019 mayoral campaign. Lenny Curry's got a lot to run on. Now, we have the district development. Now, I spent an episode of our Vision and Transition series talking a lot about what is speculated. And so now we're going to look at seeing this coming to fruition. Okay, and from their website, I'll just read to you a description of what they're looking at from the website. The district is designed for Generation H, a generation defined not by age, but by the common belief that the most fulfilling, most productive of lives are achieved by healthy living. This is a belief that applies to personal habits as well as to the entire environment. It is an environment that includes but goes far beyond bike paths, fitness centers, and daily activity. It includes an entire community that promotes good health and happiness. So there's that. We'll see what happens with that development. It's ambitious, and it's going to be right across from all this hullabaloo with the shipyards, and I've got more to bring you, more to talk with you about. So... and I can tell you, there is a feeling, and I can say that there is a feeling because I walked across the Acosta Bridge and went into Friendship Park, and I walked down the Southbank Riverwalk. I think there's a feeling, too, that we can get a lot more out of our downtown as we do more beautification efforts, and certainly bringing people downtown that will demand goods and services. Okay? I have my own political thoughts and my feelings about the visions for the future. And I know the city's got a lot of problems. And we're going to have to deal with these problems, or else then what is there? Now, there's been speculation eventually that one day the Jacksonville Landing will go away. And in a lot of the, again, I say it, hullabaloo, surrounding the litigation between the city and the management company, there's been some ideas floated, more of an open park space, more of a place for people to kind of mingle around, but have opportunity, possibly for restaurants, for riverfront type art and activities and things like that. And maybe you can kind of have like a festival type of, even, I don't know. When I look at pictures like this, I sometimes think of One Spark. I sometimes even maybe think of, if you think of Communicore in Epcot. Now I am starting to really digress and going off onto La La Land when I'm talking Epcot, Disney, and all of that. But when you've had the One Spark experience, you've been out on the river, and you think about ways that the businesses, the companies, the agencies, the governments, the chambers of commerce, so to speak, all these organizations, whatever, want to reach out to the community. Where are you going to reach out to them at these days when you're really trying to get to people, especially if you get a lot of residents, right? On the river, right? You're trying to reach people on the river. That you get this talk too then of maybe we'll get this some sort of big screen movie screen that people can enjoy. Let's say come Friday night, Saturday night, you bring your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend, your dog, your cat, your kid, your sister's kid, whatever, okay, or yourself, or just yourself, and you go out there to really enjoy it in good weather, maybe enjoy a movie or something. Okay. Opportunities, though, I think also too with these days, opportunities for people to kind of be able to have an ability to move around and to have flexibility for all concerned, right? So I'm really now going on and on and on talking about maybe what I think the future of the riverfront could be. I've availed myself a lot of some of the great features that we do have, and I hope that in the course of my film, in the video that I brought you today, that you're seeing some of the bright spots, okay? Because sometimes I go out on here and sometimes I talk online and I'll point at negativity, but I'm going to come out here today to try to bring you some positivity of seeing things in the current, but then also looking towards the future. What if it looked like this? What if the landing itself is just, it's all you've got is green space and a couple places of buildings, and you have opportunities maybe really, let's say you can get out there and you get the, I wouldn't say with the blanket or whatever, but I don't know, wine and cheese, I don't know, your phone, watch a YouTube video or something. Maybe you can just, here's an idea. One day in the future, maybe they've done this park thing. Maybe they do this park where the landing is, okay? And they do all this stuff. And you can just go out there and you can watch one of my history videos out there on the river on a nice, beautiful day. I think also, too, what they're trying to get at an angle on this end of the river is public access, because I think that whatever is going to go where the old Jackson City Hall and Duval County Courthouse is today, maybe you're saying, listen, okay, we're going to give you a lot of good park space, a lot of good kind of, I don't know, Frisbee fun zone, I don't know, whatever, right? Concert space, opportunities, during the holidays, and certainly opportunities for filmmakers like me, and here comes my angle, right? Give a lot of room for us to enjoy, and to be able to link up with a park space. You're linking up between the Times Union Performing Arts Center, what's now it's the Wells Fargo Center in this picture you see, Modus, which dates it. But you take a look and you also see the Main Street Bridge, and then later on you're going to have whatever develops. Now, as we talk about later on, I've brought us out to the shipyards area. I've brought you out to what I like to call Con Country. Now, you can think of it as KHAN country, Shad Khan country, or I don't know, maybe CON country. Okay, Con Country. Are we going to get conned on this one? I don't know. There's been a lot of slick talk. There's talk of a Ferris wheel. There's been talk of a battleship. I mean, you name it. They've projected it to be at where you're looking at. Now, one thing that they've really been pushing on, and they got federal funding for, and there was a lot of work done on it. That was to get the Hart Bridge ramps down. And so we see the Hart Bridge Expressway. I've been on the Hart Bridge Expressway numerous times. There is some benefit to it, but it is also, one might say, for a growing river city, one might say it is somewhat of an eyesore. Okay? Easy transportation access, but can it not be provided? And cannot downtown be opened up up to the North Bank, more towards the eastern side? And can there not be room, right, for people to be able to move about? There'd be park space, parkland, at grade level, right? Now there are people that will say, and rightly so, what are you going to do when the Matthews Bridge has a problem? How are you going to get people in and out of downtown? Well, at certain points, maybe then we need to start asking questions about crossings across the St. Johns River. And, the Matthews Bridge ain't getting any younger, though the Transportation Department assures us, and all of these agencies assure us things. We know that in the future we're going to have to look at things. Now, okay, I've talked about the future, I've talked about the present. Now let's take one last look at the past, okay? One last look at the past. This is our old Jacksonville City Hall. This is when it was our City Hall back in the early 1960s. It was our City Hall from 1960 until 1997. It later on became our City Hall Annex, and this skyscraper will be imploded in 2019. Okay? And then to its right, the old Duval County Courthouse. It was our courthouse from the late 1950s till 2012. And to its right, the old Duval County Jail, since demolished, that and of course we now have our Duval County Jail that I'd shown you earlier. Okay? But do you not see that the Civic Center vision, if they get rid of the Duval County Jail, what we have out there, I mean, and you see all of this gone, okay? And just behind it, if you look just behind the City Hall Annex, Old City Hall, you'll see the dome. The dome looks like a dome of the old Duval County Courthouse, the one preceding the one that we're looking at now, that is, as you've seen, is being already demolished. In fact, that part there, that's been demolished probably. If you take a look, go back into the film and see it. So I'm webbing all of these things, the past, present, and future, to you, trying to bring it to you, trying to get you thinking, because it's our city, it's our future, but it's also our past. And we're watching things change, and I get great enjoyment having the time to come out to you and onto this YouTube channel and wherever I can, and talking with you about a city that, you know, I began to only know in the late 70s as a youngster. And here I am in my 40s. And there's a lot of change going on. And I hope, though, that there is room for me. And so now I want to wish you a happy holidays, a happy, prosperous 2019 as I leave you with downtown Jacksonville on December 16th, 2018. Take it easy. See you later.